we got to get into Brian McKnight. Yeah, once again. Because the internet never forgets, and they're calling him out after old footage resurfaced of him openly praising and loving the very children and ex-wife that he claims he never loved and were brought into existence in sin. It's ridiculous, right? So let's get into him rewriting history and the emotional damage that he's left behind. What's up? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit that like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this beautifully honest reaction.
Talk to me nice, talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes, don't let it fall on me. Say you're a good guy, make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it, I wanna see it. See how rewind, when we rewind, feels so nice.
Brian, one last lie. Not one last cry. McKnight is back in the headlines, and not for his music. Who cares about the music these days at this point? Not for any new projects, but for the same emotional train wreck that keeps following him. His treatment of his other children, and this week, old videos resurfaced, clips of him calling his older kids his everything, clips of him bragging about them, about the love that they have, with his wife at the time, who's now his ex-wife, and footage, of him showing the same love he now claims he never felt. And the internet dragging him again, and well deserved, because how do you go from loving them publicly to pretending they don't exist and that you never loved your ex-wife, to legally changing the names of yourself to replace the first junior, to celebrating lawsuits against your ex-wife on your deceased son's birthday? People are calling out the hypocrisy, the emotional cruelty, calling him an a-hole, and the disturbing pattern of just him publicly humiliating the family he once praised.
The one and only Brian McKnight. What's up, Brian? Tell us a little something about your next project.
Well, first, I'd like to say hi to my two sons, BJ and Nico, and my wife, Julie, and just say thank you for 4 wonderful years.
4 years? That's how long you been with your wife? I mean, how long till parole? You hear this, people?
So you're not married?
Oh, man, come on, man, nah. Free man, Brian, okay? Huh? Clink, clink, nah.
That's too bad, see, because tonight when I get home, we're going to tuck the kids in bed, then my wife and I'll share a romantic dinner, and then cap off the evening by making love. Now, what are you going to do tonight, Martin?
How do you juggle it all? First, you're a dad.
I am a dad first,
Yeah.
but I have a wonderful woman at home that understands what I do. So she ends up being both parents a lot of the time. So my hat has to continually go off to her. And I try to be there to do all the things I possibly can.
I'm married, I have children, and it's an okay thing, Yeah. I don't think that the women out there who are my fans like me less because of that fact.
No. The U-Turn CD, which is your latest, is kind of almost a message album for you. What were some of the issues that you were trying to work out?
I finally have a record with U-Turn that every single song, each song is something that I've actually gone through, and every single song. On this album, it was definitely straight from my heart and things that I was dealing with at that time.
What was the most powerful cut for you on the CD?
It's kind of like ask me which one of my sons I love more. I love them all the same. Well, my two boys, BJ is my oldest, Brian Jr., and Nico, his younger brother. I'm the most proudest dad on the planet Earth. I want to thank my wife, Julie, my boys, BJ and Nico, for the sacrifice they make for me to be able to do what I do.
I don't remember calling him an asshole, but he is an asshole. Let me be clear. Brian McKnight, is this my camera? Brian McKnight, you are an asshole. And that's okay. It's not a beef. We ain't got no issues. You're just an asshole. I'm basing that on having interviewed Brian McKnight lots of times. Since I wasn't going to mention this, but I've interviewed you lots of times. You were rude and nasty to everybody on my crew. Everybody on my team, you were nice to me. But the measure of being an asshole isn't how you treat the host. It's how you treat everybody around him. Yeah. And you've been a dickhead to them. No disrespect to you, except you're an asshole. I was in an airport in Eastern Europe. I was headed somewhere. You were headed somewhere different. I watched a woman come up to you and ask you for an autograph, and you completely ignored and disrespected her and walked off. You're an asshole. But that's not why we're talking about this. So we say, I don't know you. Right. I don't know you. But I don't have to know you to know you're an asshole. I don't get into your family business. Your family business has nothing to do with me, except when you make it public. And when you put your family in public on blast, that might make you an asshole. That's all I'm saying. When you have children and you say my children are the product of evil, that might make you an asshole. When somebody says, yo, but the Bible says you should love your children, you say my older children were the product of sin. That might make you an asshole. Yeah. That's just a fact. When you have a child named Brian McKnight Jr., and then you fall out with them, have a new baby, name him Brian McKnight with a different middle name, and then legally change your name to the new kid's name, you tried to start back at one with your kids? Nigga, that might make you an asshole. So please, don't act like you better than us. You're not. You worse than us. If you want to come up here and debate, I'm sure they will let you debate. But you didn't contact nobody. You're lying, just like your children say you lie. And for the record, I have spoken to your children off the record, and they've told me a laundry list of shit about you that's way worse than anything that's ever happened in the public. I'm not going to say that on air. We could keep that between me and you.
Okay, so that Martin footage, I definitely remember that. I remember it because I've seen every episode of Martin hundreds of times over the years. I mean, the show is back from the 90s, so if you watch Martin, then you know. And I really didn't remember about that when we've been seeing these clips of him and just seeing the disgusting things that he's been saying about his ex-wife and his children, just because I just wasn't equating a little quick acting gig to what he has been doing in real time. And some may say, oh, well, he was on a television show. It was just him acting. No, I don't believe that was acting, because he was on the show as Brian McKnight, not as another character. And it was just a little clip, a little snippet. And for context, that episode of Martin, that was when Martin and Gina broke up, because Gina was expecting him to step up to the plate. You're either going to put a ring on it or I'm moving on with my life. And he was like, all right, Gina, you begged, you pleaded, you harassed me, you broke me down, so clank, clank, I will marry you. Damn. I mean, are you happy now? If you know, you know. You've watched the episodes, you've seen it. And so this was when she was like, okay, fine. I'm out of here. I'm moving to New York. I got this other gig, this other opportunity for my career. And you are not wanting to be serious about our relationship. So I got to do what I got to do, because there are certain things I want for my life. So he was hosting the radio show. Brian McKnight came on as a guest. And because of what Martin was going through at the time, he had a bad outlook and perspective on love and relationships and life. So Brian McKnight was responding to pretty much say, well, look, I'm married. I'm loving life. Life is amazing. We have, our children. And so what do you got going on with yourself, since you want to try to make my life look like something that's miserable? No, I have a happy, healthy life and marriage. So to hear him now talk about how he never loved his wife and his children were conceived in sin and all this other BS that he's talking about right now is absolutely ridiculous. Because how do you go from loving your kids publicly and your wife at the time, who's now your ex-wife, to pretending the kids don't exist, saying they were conceived in sin, and saying that you never loved your ex-wife and it was something that you were pretty much feeling like you had to do because of the church and religion? So now with this resurfaced footage, it's clear that this man did not lose love for his children. He rewrote the narrative when it suited him. And the tone-deaf attitude he continues to show proves why so many say this is less about family drama and more about narcissistic image control. For whatever reason, with this new family that he has, he feels that there is some need for him to completely dispose of the life that he lived prior to getting with them. It's sad, but it's also very disgusting and disturbing. Marc Lamont Hill called him out on being an a-hole. Pretty much most people with sense online are saying the same things about him. The creep who interviewed him for that podcast, that interview that he did, that was pretty much justifying the things that he was saying. He's as much as a creep as Brian McKnight is, so I pretty much can understand why the two of them were able to sit down and have a conversation, because they see eye to eye. But I want to know what you guys think about this, so let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.